All right, how's it going? This is another episode of Line Heat. This is Eric Brown from Monorail Digital Media, and I'm here with Rick, GM of Filho's Great Road in Acton, Massachusetts. So welcome. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so, we were just having a little conversation earlier that I'd love to recap, but basically just start off with your story in terms of, you're the general manager here.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like you actually started in the back of the house. So, I'd really like in this episode to talk about, keys to success in terms of, career progression, and also we'll get into some of the story around this business itself and some of the success you've seen within the community and just, staying around, and being well received within the community in the past 2 years that you've been here. So, Rick, you can introduce yourself, and I'd love to just hear your story.
All right, sure. I'm Rick Guinazzo, general manager of Filho's Great Road in Acton. I've been in the restaurant business for a few decades. Started out in the business working my uncle's restaurant when I was 15 years old as a dishwasher, and worked hard. Started doing prep and toast at his breakfast restaurant and pancakes, and just worked from there. Worked several different jobs as a line cook, breakfast cook, prep. Worked really hard. Got noticed by the owner. Received a promotion as a kitchen manager with no management experience. Had to do a lot of research on my own in the times before Google. Had to go to the library, research everything from, how to control labor, food cost, everything like that. Went into another Italian restaurant as kitchen manager. Was very successful for 5 years. From there, got hired as a general manager at a New York-style deli and catering company. From there, helped that owner open up his second restaurant, an Italian restaurant. And when he sold the restaurant, which was very successful, and retired, the current owner at Filho's Cucina in Groton hired me to help open his second concept, a full-service concept here in Acton, Filho's Great Road. And that's the short of it. It's it's a lot of hard work, a lot of long hours on the way, and I feel I've been very successful in this business, and it's a great industry if you love being around people, if you love being around food. We're in the industry to make people happy, so it's a great career choice too.
Sure, that's awesome. So, being a general manager out here, it's an easy job, right? No one ever said that one, right?
No, not at all. It's an easy job if you have a great team. If you have a great team, then it becomes an easy job. If you have all great employees, they pretty much pick up the work for you. So
sure.
And I've been really blessed here to have a really great team. They make my job easy.
So when I came in here one time, you were actually in the process of interviewing somebody. That process in itself, so building the team,
Yes.
What is your philosophy around that, or how do you make sure that you have a cohesive team and you're all working together?
Building a team, especially when it comes to the front of the house, the most important thing is personality. You can teach someone to bus tables, you can teach someone to answer the phone, to take out orders. Even with serving, the number one thing you look for is personality. You want people with great, outgoing, friendly personality. Because after all, we are in the service industry. So just as important as a great meal, good service, great drinks, is people are coming out to be pampered. So it's really important that you concentrate on people with a great smile, outgoing, friendly. That's the basis of it. And then you look for other things. You look for, ask questions, what they do at school, what they do at home. You want people with a good work ethic. Those are the people you want to take in, that you want to promote.
And here, are you also working on, or do you interview the back of the house as well? Or have you transitioned
I interview back of the house in conjunction with our chef, Mark Russo. Like I said, we've got a great team. My job is easy because my chef pretty much takes care of everything back of the house, does the scheduling, the hiring. I help with the interview process and the applications, but he pretty much does it all. He's a great chef.
So previous to this restaurant opening up, you were the manager at, was it Bella Familia?
That's right.
All right. And so I'm curious, how did that transition come about where you were actually able to carry on here and actually sort of lead the opening here, right? With Ozzy.
Yes. So when the owner of the previous restaurant, Joe, decided that he wanted to retire, he was successful wanted to sell the restaurant, buy a nice condo in Florida. He, an old friend of his, Filho, who has a great restaurant in Groton. I think they're coming up on 16 years now. Mentioned to him that he was considering it, and Ozzy felt like it was a perfect time for him to open a restaurant. And Joe put in a good word for me. He said, hey, if you want a great manager to help open the place, he had a chef already. Said, I got a great manager that can open the place, run the place for you. And Ozzy just took a shot and said, all right, he trusts Joe's word, brought me on, and we just celebrated our 2-year anniversary, and we're doing very well. Acton has given us, a really warm welcome. We've retained probably 90% of the guests from the old restaurant. We've brought in almost double that amount of guests if you include the fans of Filho's in Groton, new guests coming in. We've doubled our guest count from the previous place, and we're just continuing to grow from there.
Wow, that's cool. And I think I read a quote of yours saying that basically, like the Acton said, we're glad you're here, right? And when we were talking earlier, one of the things we had talked about was just marketing in general, and that's actually something that you don't necessarily have to focus on, it sounds like, in terms of buying ads in the newspaper or on TV or whatever, right? It sounds like you have a lot of organic growth and a lot of word of mouth and customers basically doing that for you.
Yes.
And you're also very active in the community, right?
Mm-hmm.
So can you talk more about that, about how you've been able to leverage that to actually get the community behind you and help you be successful, I guess?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Advertising is definitely, it's definitely a tool you can use to grow your business. We've found that we actually, you really don't need to invest a lot of money or any money in actual physical advertising, whether it's online or newspapers or any of the old medias. A lot of it is just word of mouth, and that includes, social media with sites like Yelp, Google, TripAdvisor. If your guests are having a great experience, they're giving you 5-star reviews. Other people notice that. We heavily utilize Facebook. We have our own Facebook page. We invite people. We invite people to be interactive with our posts. But I think the biggest thing is involvement in the community. Getting involved in charity drives, different funds. Recently, the Acton Police Department did a National Night Out. It's a national thing where people can go to the police department and visit it, and it brings the community in so they don't feel so separated. And we brought in platters of food. We donated gift cards. I donated my time. And things like that really get you noticed in the community. So it's word of mouth, social media, getting involved in charity events, donating things like, you don't have to donate money, you can donate gift cards, platters of food, pass out menus, and it really does more, I think, than just popping an ad in the paper.
So it sounds like you actually have a positive feeling around social media as far as the business goes. Some owners and general managers that I've spoken with actually, they're like, oh, Yelp, I hate those, Yelp ads or TripAdvisor ads, reviews.
Yeah.
So it sounds like those are fine for you. Can you tell me, how do you actually make that a positive experience? Outside of people being happy, I'm sure every once in a while someone says something that's like, hey, I didn't have the best experience. How do you deal with something like that and make it a win for the restaurant?
It's a tool just like anything else. So, if you just let it sit there and let people put up reviews and then you just leave it alone, that's it. I go on once a week, every Tuesday. I check all the review sites, and I respond to every single review personally. So whether it's a good one, 99% of them are all 4 and 5 star reviews. They're great. Every once in a while, we'll still get a bad one. Someone doesn't have the greatest experience.
Sure.
And, you don't need to offer anything. You just need to go on there and just let them know, hey, I noticed, we pride ourselves in giving great reviews, great dining experiences. We obviously didn't do that. For whatever reason, it wasn't a great experience, and we'd love for you to give it a shot again. I'll give them my name, my phone number. Give me a call.
Wow.
Let's get you in again. Let's give it another shot. Sometimes it works, and they come back. You wow them, and they'll go right back on there and change that review or update it and say,
Yeah.
The most important thing is, making sure every guest is happy before they leave the building. I think a lot of restaurateurs miss that, where the front of the house staff, you're the first people they see on the way in, the last people on the way out. You're the ones that need to make sure they're happy, and 99.9% of the guests, you can make sure they have an amazing experience, even if it for some reason doesn't start out right. Occasionally I have someone who sits, a server may forget to greet them.
Sure.
As long as you get to it right away, you fix it, you want to make sure everyone's happy when they leave the building. They're going to leave you great reviews. You could actually use Yelp and TripAdvisor and Google as a good tool. Go on there, like them, respond to every one of them, even the negative ones. You don't respond negative, you respond in a positive. Use it as a learning experience.
Sure. That's awesome. That's really great. I'm glad you've embraced that, because it is such an important part of the business, especially today.
Definitely.
I'm curious. I want to ask two more things. So one is just about the general opening of the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
So there's the concept, and then you decide, all right, this is the location. It seems like it worked out. Then there's the food, right? So there's got to be. This is a sister location, and yet it's not the same as what's in Groton, right? So how did that whole all come about, and you decide, all right, this is what the concept's going to be. It's going to be a little bit different. There's also a full bar here. You open up, and everyone just comes in, or no? There's got to be a whole process around opening and deciding what you need to get in place before you actually open the business to the community.
Yes, yeah, it was a challenge because it's a different concept. Our location in Groton, Filio's Cucina, is counter service. It's like half service. You go up to the counter, you order your food. They have a bring your own beer and wine license. You can go next door to the liquor store, bring a bottle of wine back, and then people will bring the food over to you. So transforming that into a full service atmosphere with the full bar and lounge. We kept all the classics on the menu, pretty much just about everything the same, but because it's full service, the demographics are slightly different. 85% of their sales are takeout, where 85% of our sales are dine-in.
Wow.
We knew opening a full service restaurant was going to be a little different. So when we were opening, some of the things you have at a full service restaurant with a bar and lounge is you need more appetizers. People, are going to sit for a longer period of time. They need appetizers before their meal, when they have a martini, things like that. We had to build an appetizer menu. We added some appetizers. We also inherited a wonderful brick oven from the previous restaurant. We decided to roll with it, use 100% Caputo flour. We do thin crust pizzas, which they don't have in the Groton location. And then there's some things that we figured out don't work for us that do work for them.
Yeah.
Over there, they have all these amazing pasta salads and pre-made salads in their deli case. We first opened, we tried to go that route, and it just wasn't selling. We were just getting rid of it at the end of the night.
Wow.
We decided that's more set up for like a takeout situation, not a dine-in. So we kind of had an idea as to what we do, but of course you're always evolving, and you need to evolve to stay relevant in this business.
Totally.
And that's in every way. You need to evolve to what the demographics of the area are and the kind of food they seem to go for more than in the other location, also evolving with full service as opposed to counter service. So.
Sure. And as far as, the restaurant industry is not known to be easy. What are stresses or things that you find challenging in your day-to-day, or perhaps some of your employees?
Yeah, so probably some of the biggest challenges is in the restaurant business. Most people in the restaurant business will tell you it's usually a high turnover rate, and that's because in the restaurant business, not the most glamorous business, you have a lot of people that are using that business or working here as a stepping stone. For example, they'll work in the restaurant business while they're in high school or while they're in college until they get their degree, and then they go on to other things. So thinking about that and the high turnover rate, it can be a challenge, but I've also used it as a tool. I've had some, if you have great employees that work through you all throughout high school, they stay all throughout college. They'll come work during break for you, and I've even had ones that have graduated, that have a degree, that have gone off in their careers, that will still come and work for me on the weekends.
Oh, that's
great.
So
it really is. You treat your employees well. You treat them. They have a hard work ethic. You treat them really well, and they're gonna stick around, and they'll always have that as a fallback career.
That's great.
Another challenge is, you only have so many seats in the restaurant, and it's a good problem to have that on the weekends we completely fill. We're in the business to serve people and make them happy. You can imagine sometimes people aren't that happy when they come in and you tell them it's a half-hour wait to be sad. So, it's always a challenge to try and make sure they're happy while they're waiting, they're staying. Some of the things you could do, you can send a server over to offer to see if they want to buy a glass of wine or drink while they're waiting.
Sure.
Chef sees a line out the door, we call it lobby love. We have a ton of people waiting in the lobby.
Yeah.
He'll throw a couple pizzas in the oven, cut them up real small, and you bring them out there, and just it takes the edge off while people
Oh, that's
are waiting.
great. Yeah.
Little things like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Any closing advice or words for anyone that's either looking to get in the industry or just thinking about their career in the industry? Anything you'd want to just provide as advice?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a tough industry. It's hard work, but it's rewarding. I did try going into other fields where I was sitting in an office or doing other stuff, and I immediately came back to the restaurant business. If you're a people person, if
Yeah.
you love food, if you love interacting socially with people, it is definitely a great career. You can't be afraid to get dirty and work hard, but if you work hard at it and you have the drive to succeed, you can be very successful in this business. Whether it's front of the house, whether it's chef back of the house, if you're looking to own your own business, catering, there's a lot of different aspects of this business that are really rewarding and really fun.
Awesome. Thanks. Well, it's great to have you. Thanks for your time, and I appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot.